Hi, Miss Tao.
Did you start it? Oh,
yeah, we did. Hi, Miss Tao. So our book was Shadow of the Dragon by Cheryl Garland. We have to do that. Okay.
Sherry Garland.
Okay, and then we just start this. Okay.
no, it's
I
fine.
can cut.
We can just cut it out.
Okay. By Sherry Garland, and so here's a little summary of what we've read so far. Not a lot is happening. It's a pretty slow book, but so Danny he's a Vietnamese American, and he's living in Houston with his family, and they are hosting a party for his cousin Sang Lee, who is in prison, which they call a re-education camp. And he was in there for years, so now he's coming out, and he was a refugee, and now he's coming out, and so yeah, they have a party, and when they're preparing for the party, Danny he saved these girls from this gang who was like trying to hurt them or sexually harass them, and then during the party, Sang Lee meets Hong, who was one of the girls that Danny rescued from the gang, and so Hong likes Danny, but Sang Lee likes Hong, but then Danny likes this other girl who is white named Tiffany. So yes, nothing's really happened so far in the book. It's a very, very slow book, but yeah. Questions?
So,
Oh.
start, yeah, so I guess you're at the free floor.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. What do you think about the fact that the narrator thinks like the girls that he saves are like supposed to not show their expressions?
First of all,
Like he's like talking about how he thinks like that people told him that. Like what do you think about like that expectation of people?
so far as
That people should be accepted in their expressions.
I think it like shows a lot of like how their culture
I was thinking
is different than like culture in American culture. Yeah, for sure. It shows the differences between. But like yeah, it just shows the differences between like how we're supposed to act.
So, like,
And what do you think about like the like dragon symbolism that like keeps popping up, like and how it like makes the narrative, like the expectations of the narrative could be like do great things and how that affects him? How do you think that affects him? He was like expected to be great things since he was born in the year of the dragon and stuff, and how he was like popping up.
Well, so like one of the research that I did for one of the researchers, I researched what the dragon symbolizes in Vietnamese culture, and so like some of the researchers said rain and like agriculture, but mostly it means like power and like life, existence, and growth. So I think going back to the question, I think that really makes him feel like he needs to like meet all of those expectations that the dragon is supposed to like symbolize.
On your hair, it's gonna be like in the video. Also, you just said that the dragon symbolizes rain. And then when he's driving on his way to the airport to pick up his cousin, it starts raining. So that kind of like has symbolism in that. Is like it was right after he had to settle like all those disputes with his family, which is one of the passages I did was on page 26. It was like after he had to, or before he had to settle a dispute. It says Danny expelled air from his lungs slowly. For the 100th time, he cursed his Vietnamese custom. Because he was the oldest son, he has to be the one to settle all the disputes. So like, yeah, like you're saying. So like with the dragon symbolizing that he's born in the year of the dragon, he's the oldest. So like he has like that power, and he has to learn how to like use it and like how to come to terms with it, even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah. And then what do you think it would be like with all the people that are like coming over to the house and just like tripping over these toys and stuff and like kids sitting in circles? Like, what do you think that would be to have a house with people like that when you get to know them so quickly?
I feel like it would be really hard to like do your own thing in a household like that. Like he's the oldest and he's like expected to like have power over like all of these people in his household, and so it puts more stress on him and like I don't know, it kind of like takes up his life, and like he's also in high school, and so there's so many things that are going on in his life.
Yeah.
Attention leadership team, the meeting will begin in the library conference room now.
And then like
And then, or sorry.
no, it's okay. I was gonna say, I think that it's like having so many people in his house, it probably makes it really hectic and stressful for him. And then also, but then his grandma said when they were bringing so many people in the car to go pick up their cousin, she said something about like how it's good to be like completely surrounded with family. So I think it's also like a benefit of that.
Yeah. And then the last one is, what do you guys think that so far in the book, like, not much has happened, but what do you think the theme is so far? What do you guys think the theme?
I think there might be some sort of theme of like coming to terms with your culture and like especially in a different place, like when you're taken out of like a culture that's dominant and then put into like a new place, like
Especially like his younger sister, like
Who she's trying to be
Yeah.
westernized.
Okay.
And, yeah.
his grandma doesn't like that at all.
Yeah, so like,
the opposite.
it's like the theme is like always like stay with your culture and like
So I was thinking there's two.
yeah. I think the book also really showcases like the battle between like Western culture and then like more traditional cultures.
I mean, they're free, but they're also.
Oh yeah. So
Can't really.
research. Sherry Garland lives in Houston, Texas, and she is a white female, and she writes about all these Vietnamese like cultures and
So.
said the ties and like she like writes about different cultures and especially Vietnamese because she has family ties with them or like she knows a lot of families that are Vietnamese in Texas.
And then I also did stuff about the re-education camps, which are also prison camps. So the prison camps operated by communist government of Vietnam following the end of the Vietnam War. And the government imprisoned up to 300,000 former military officers and like people. And then the prisoners were incarcerated for up to 17 years. And then and then like they're mostly ranging from
3 to 10 years old.
She's like the worst part.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
That's awesome. Any last?
Okay, so.
Should I go? Thank you, Ms. Tao.
So, why do you think